Good evening, folks. Welcome back to the Fan Batch. I'm Andy, and I'm joined by my own band of brothers here. We got Wes R. Scott.
Hello!
And Hank McLaughlin.
Woo! What's up, Galaxy?
Well, as always, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join the conversation.
Well, they're all over there, all those buttons. Hit them all.
Yeah.
Join them all. Do all the things.
See what they do. But it's kind of fitting that this week Phee gets a larger role because if you didn't know, Wanda Sykes was actually guest hosting The Daily Show.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Really?
Yeah. So last week was Leslie.
We talked about Leslie Jones last week.
Yeah, and this week it was Wanda Sykes. So
okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I thought it was a full-time gig.
I thought it was too, but then I saw another promo and it's like guest host every week.
So what's the deal with Trevor Noah?
I believe he's moved on to other stuff.
So now we're just
gone back to stand-up.
It's a rotating seat. Oh, has he? Good for him.
Yeah.
Is it a rotating seat now then?
Until they find somebody that bumps the ratings enough, I guess.
All right.
Jon Stewart. Excuse me. Sorry.
Jon Stewart. Any opening thoughts for this week's episode, guys?
I have one.
Raiders much?
Okay, so that's what I was gonna say. I in our cross chatter leading up to the episode, I think I had written, "Wow, this episode is Raiders of the Lost Ark meets The Goonies meets Godzilla."
Fifth Element.
Oh yes, and The Fifth Element. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably it's a choose your own adventure of
basically
sci-fi adventure tropes. I'm sure we could find The Mummy and a few other really crazy stuff.
You had mentioned that the other week. You were talking about other pop culture references, and it really dawned on me for this one. I was like, oh my god, there is quite a few.
There is some spot on stuff in this.
Yeah.
It's about time they started giving back. They're being leaned into so heavily by other properties that it's kind of. It should be open game. It should be like carte blanche for Star Wars to use.
I like the fact that people are not afraid to wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and yet it's still 100% Star Wars.
Yeah, because a lot of what the wink, wink, nudge, nudging this week is George Lucas related.
Yeah, of course it is.
So,
I know we're not there yet, but I wanted to take a minute to share. It seems appropriate with The Mandalorian about to come back. I got a new friend this week. How was that?
Oh,
that's our Death Watch Mandalorian. Also, did you guys watch Willow yet, Andy?
I have not.
No,
watched
okay.
It yet.
Well, just because we're talking work, Davis here for a second. I got another friend this week too.
Nice.
Oh, that's real nice.
And I don't care what anybody says. I love these furry little cannibal bastards.
Oh man.
I love my cannibal teddy bears.
Yep.
Violent.
It's like Chuck Norris went to Build-A-Bear.
That's right. But before we get too far in,
of course.
Is it time?
We can make it time. Let me just.
Oh my! Time for what?
Is it time for another round of bad Star Wars jokes.
Nice.
It never gets old.
It doesn't.
Where's that guy? I don't know.
How did Darth Vader cheat at poker?
Well, I don't know. How did Darth Vader cheat at poker?
He kept altering the deal.
Very good.
Nice
Brad did not alter the hand any further.
Yeah.
Right on. You got any more?
No, I'm almost ready to dive in here. So
I guess that has been another installment of Bad Star Wars Jokes. One day I'm going to find that guy.
Yeah. So this week we are where are we here? There we are. I
know where I am. I'm in the studio. Where are you?
I'm messing around with stuff. So without further ado, let's dive into episode 5. This episode originally aired Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. It's titled Entombed, and it has a listed runtime of 29 minutes with credits and titles, but it comes in at 25 minutes and 43 seconds without.
A little bit longer than last week.
A little bit.
Not by much, though.
No. This one is written by Christopher Yost. He's got 22 writing credits previously done, including 1 episode of The Mandalorian, 5 episodes of Rebels, 4 Ragnarok, and an interesting upcoming one as early screenplay for the 2024 Masters of the Universe project.
Crazy.
we've covered that before. This is a new yet another screenplay?
This one is listed as upcoming, so
okay. I have to go back and rewatch our Masters episode to see if that tracks with what we reported before,
or if it's a new update.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, but back in the director's chair yet again is Nathaniel Villanova, and with this episode, that will bring his total for the Bad Batch up to 8 episodes.
Oh, right on.
Oh man,
so makes him a veteran.
Just under a half.
He's an ace, like almost twice over.
Yeah. So the synopsis this week reads: The Batch searches for an ancient treasure that stirs up a shocking surprise.
Did anybody think we talked about this before? And I think other outlets were sort of, and maybe I kind of got caught up in the hype train there that like Entombed was going to be this big, like, oh, it's going to be super heavy and really dark and like really major forward plot pushing.
Surprise.
I don't know. I went into it thinking, you know what? They're going to get stuck somewhere.
That much there was no question that was going to happen. I just thought it was going to be more foreboding, maybe.
Oh, it was pretty
like I've enjoyed the last 2 episodes, but this one more than the last one for sure. But I still feel like, and it is a long season. I mean, we're getting a lot of episodes, but I feel like after they dropped some of the big heavy bombs last season, that I'm like, okay, that was cute. That's okay. The racing was cute. Let's go back to Tython. let's go to the mountain. I know we're going there. Yep. Tannis, but yeah. So I. Not that I didn't enjoy them. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I'm like chomping at the bit. And maybe that's the idea. Maybe that's the idea.
Do I dare use the word filler?
For me,
I wouldn't.
Totally.
Okay. I agree with you, Andy. I don't find them filler. I actually, I mean, for guys that, for you folks that watched last week or listened to last week's episode, the racing episode, I was so tickled pink by that. Like, and I admitted I probably liked it more than I had a right to, but it just, it hit some nostalgia buttons for me that weren't strictly Star Wars related.
Yeah.
And I get that with the pop culture references in this episode, I get a similar kind of like, oh, that's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely fun.
I don't know. Maybe it's me. I listened to an interesting podcast when I was on the road yesterday, and it was a podcast about screenwriting, and the gentleman hosting it suggested that the reason why a lot of Hollywood films suck lately is that writers are not believing in their characters, that movies are being made based on,
what's going to sell.
Yeah. As opposed to just develop your character, believe in your characters. And you know how I am with my whole tech thing.
Yeah.
That's where I was last week. And I think because I was so invested in tech as a character, I think that's what really made that episode shine for me.
I was absent last week, but I can say the one thing that sort of felt like a dropped ball to me last week was that there was no surprises for me. I knew the second the episode opened, that like early on in the conversation, I was like, oh, Tech's going to win the race. He's going to end up racing and going to win the race.
Like
I saw it coming from a mile away. And I know I do expect a little more, but not that I didn't enjoy it. Like the Phantom Menace stuff, the George Lucas racing stuff, and all that stuff is present, in this episode too. It's just like that meat is coming, and I'll wait for it. I'm not disappointed by any means, but I want that meat so bad. I mean, there's some heavy dangling participles.
How many appetizers they're going to throw at you before?
Right. Before we get back to the clones.
So we I'll go back to the analogy, standing in front of the monument, the memorial. It can't be all like doom and gloom all the time.
Or you're going to lose the kids. You don't want to lose the kids.
No, you don't.
100%. I get that. These are all just personal gripes too. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the show.
No, absolutely.
Love it.
I was just on a technical note, Andy, just switch that camera off. Just 3 dots and then stop cam.
There you go.
I'll just save some bandwidth.
There you go. For me though, like this episode is kind of vital in giving us more of that
Oh, sure, yeah.
character development for Phee. Like, based on what we got in
Right.
the opening episode, we didn't get much. And now we've got a bit better gauge of, you know, is she going to betray them? Is she just using them?
Yeah, she's
Is she
totally.
willing to throw them under the bus?
I had said this in the chat too. She's basically a Dr. Aphra mixed with Hondo.
Yeah, I said that she might be our stand-in for Hondo in his absence.
Yeah,
And seeing her this week, seeing her geared up, as it were,
Mhm.
I totally, I will.
and I
repeat
mean,
that.
it's
I
a
believe
big,
she is the stand-in.
it's
for
a big
him.
universe. There's there's more than one that kind of character. So it's that's cool too. But I feel like we're in that Filoni-verse world where like
Of course.
Hondo would have fit so perfectly in this role.
I'm not convinced that they're not connected yet.
Yeah,
and I think
well,
that there is room for him to turn up.
that's quite possible. And Lauren did say like Hondo's is likely to kill you and that's a little
Well-
heavy for a lighthearted piratey companion.
Yeah.
Dr. Aphra's in that category too. If it suits both of those characters' needs, they would put a blaster in your back easily. So there is that. She seems to be more endearing, if you will.
Yeah.
I did like her, and I know we'll get to it when we get to the visual aspect, but I really appreciated the fact that when Sid had called her the most trustworthy pirate I know, animation wise, they really leaned into the pirate theme. She's carrying ostensibly what amounts to a cutlass.
Yep.
Her blaster looks like a flintlock. Like I really like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Speaking of gearing up too, if you'll notice in the episode, Phee is not wearing any sort of helmet,
No.
and neither is Omega.
What are you suggesting that?
Well, the first 3 outings, we've had Omega come in with her little rebel style helmet.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
And you'll notice she's kind of really leaning into emulating Phee this episode.
Well, yeah, we'll get into it in the
Oh,
episode
sure,
for
sure.
sure.
But
But she
we'll
parrots
cross
her.
that. Oh yeah.
She parrots
Yeah,
her tons. And what and we can talk about it when it pops up, but I feel like that's her accepting programming, if you will, like learning from her. She's going to learn
Yep.
stuff from Sid. She just learned gaming and strategy from Sid. She's going to learn, adventuring and risk taking from Phee. And there is a big character thing that I think this episode does, and we'll talk about that when we hit it. But I think that there is one very important thing in this episode, and it revolves around Hunter. But we should probably dive in. We've been
All right,
yammering.
All right. We open this week's episode in a large junkyard somewhere on Ord Mantell, where we soon find Wrecker and Omega scavenging for usable parts. Wrecker remarks how he loves a good junkyard, and he hoists a large metal component onto his shoulder. He then states that they should be able to find a spare compressor here, and Omega adds her 2 cents, citing, among other things, as she looks through a broken shard of glass. Wrecker agrees with a chuckle and a hearty, "You got that right." And as the two move further into the yard, we see crushed and stripped ships all piled around them, similar to your average car junkyard, right? But
I really thought we were going to get some serious Easter eggs in this. I
Yeah.
was looking hard.
yeah, but I could not
No, me
pull
neither.
out,
No, I didn't really.
especially the one they climb into.
Not even
Yeah.
any steel peckers.
They're at the other end.
would have been a perfect opportunity. We got steel peckers in the Sereno episode.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
in the palace and flew out the window,
Yep.
but can't get them in a junkyard. Denied.
They got steel pecker scarecrows. I don't know.
Steel pecker crows. That doesn't sound right.
No.
That
Whoa.
sounds awful.
It does.
Oh,
cut-
parents, I am so sorry.
There's no
Please.
cutting that one out in post.
But anyway, Omega peeks into the cockpit of one of the not flattened ships and climbs inside. Wrecker follows, and he ends up tossing his metal component on the floor. Omega, she pops open a glove compartment and inside finds it full of items. And she gives a celebratory yes. And she pulls out some goggle frame lenses, a ball on a stick, and, a few other items. At the same time, though, Wrecker has found the compressor that they're looking for, telling Omega he's got it. And he asks her, "Have you found anything good?" And she waves her new treasure, tells Wrecker, "Check it out." And he gives an approving, "Yeah."
It's totally kid-like, though,
It
right?
is.
I mean,
look what I found.
yeah, she's just being a kid.
Yeah. Everything is treasure. But we cut back to Sid's parlor, where we find Phee regaling Ketch and Bolo with one of her adventures. And the two regulars, they're listening intently as she tells them the time she had to fend off a tentacled beast called an octomorph.
The octomorph.
Barehanded, no less.
Oh,
This is the first mention of this particular beast, but perhaps it's simply a nod to the octopus from that deleted scene in Goonies.
right, with the octopus on the
Yeah.
pirate ship.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I buy that.
I could swear when it originally aired on TV, though,
Yeah.
that it was included.
Yeah, I
It
feel
may
like
it may have been for the so TV broadcast movies.
There,
There's this thing. There's a couple of them. Aliens is the one that comes to mind, and it's the sequence with the autocannons. The autocannons that were later included in the DVD was a director's cut DVD edition,
right.
but they did not appear in the theatrical cut. It was in the television broadcast version where that was first seen.
The missing song from the Muppet Christmas movie was in the television release.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
not the
we just
theatrical release.
I just watched it this past Christmas too.
yeah. Same with Jaws when he goes to the hardware store for the piano wire that gets snapped later.
Oh, right.
This is the worst thing for the Mandela effect.
The death scene in Bambi. No, I'm kidding.
But we get a little bit of Orabesh here first. The sign outside, which simply reads SIDS.
Nice.
And as we catch up with Echo, Hunter, and Tech sitting at the bar, Tech remarks that this story changes every time she tells it. And in the background here, we get more. There's a little bit of Orabesh on the wall that reads best in mid-rim.
I thought that, is that not something that we scribbled on a bathroom wall?
Maybe. But I don't know. Maybe she's trying to hawk some fries or something.
Does that look like it's painted on there or scratched in?
No, it's painted on there.
Clean looking, yeah.
Yeah, pretty clean. All right.
The sign between Echo and Hunter, it reads Tricky Shot.
Nice.
So I'm assuming one of the game things. The one between him and Echo, or
the credit pusher.
the credit
Oh, the
pusher,
first
yes,
time we've
between
seen
him and
that one.
Tech.
Yeah.
And the tablet that Hunter is reading has video, and if you hold for another frame, you get the next letter. It's S.
Oh, okay.
So video screen, maybe. But either way, he's studying something. Phee continues that after she vanquished the beast, she swam through a coral cave only to find the Grand Pearl of Novak. And this blows the minds of Ketch and Bolo, but Hunter is quick to dismiss it, stating those two will believe anything.
Well, they are pretty fixated on her.
They are. They're like right enamored right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is our first reference to this particular artifact, but there are two existing references to Novak.
Oh, cool.
The first is Novak Incorporated, which was a well-known tech giant with branches in weapons, medicine, and ships. They were founded in 34 ABY and were a longtime supplier of the Republic.
Okay.
Among some of their items were the Libertation, or what am I saying here? The Liberation class heavy carrier, which we have a picture of there. The expandable vibroblade.
Oh, nice.
Midichlorian killing poison.
Jeez.
And to supply both sides, they also made force restoring back to tanks.
Are these canon references?
These are.
They are. Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, so technically it hasn't happened yet for them.
No, sure.
But the Novak family could be present
right
in the galaxy.
So in the future, these things will be.
Yeah. So if there is like some rich legacy of the family Novak,
that's cool.
Related to it.
That's very cool.
The other one is a bit deeper cut, and it's Jim Novak.
Oh, nice.
He was a comic book creator and letterer who worked for Marvel Comics back in the 70s.
Sure.
And his tie to it is a pretty deep one, because in the late 70s, he redesigned the logo for the Marvel Star Wars comic
book,
making changes that were incorporated into the version that got used in the film's marketing.
I mean, Lucasfilm has been known to use names of people, as like a little, part of the crew and production crew to give them a little name drop here and there.
Yeah. In a 2013 interview with Gizmodo, Novak was quoted saying, "I made a few significant changes, but it was basically their design and I Marvelized it."
Very good.
So, though we might not know the artifact, there could be possibilities.
Yeah.
Just then, Wrecker and Omega return from the junkyard with a proclamation of mission accomplished. And Wrecker announces one compressor as requested as he tosses the component to Tech. Tech responds with a nicely done, Wrecker. And Omega adds, "That's not all we got," as she lays out her treasures for Tech to inspect. And after a quick glance, he tells her this assortment could have been left at the junkyard. But Phee cuts him off, telling him, easy, quick draw. Let the expert take a look.
It's funny how now we've got, so we're going to have to remember that each clone is going to have 3 names. They're going to have their actual name.
Yep.
They're going to have what Sid calls them. And now they're going to have what Phee calls them.
Won't they
Yeah.
have
Well, and
their
their
CT designation.
Their CT
Oh, there's that.
designation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's true.
Getting up there.
Goggles.
Headband.
Tech informs her that the first piece she picks up is just a manifold regulator and a broken one at that. And sarcastically, she snipes back, thanks, clone obvious. And throwing the first parts back, one item catches her eye and she picks up a thin disc type object. And sliding open a cover on it, it reveals strange markings etched into it. Phee estimates that they're coordinate markings. And echoing her statement, Omega's eyes go wide with wonder. Phee calls to her droid, Mel 221, who we're meeting for the first time. She's a cylindrical type of power droid that resembles like a cross between R2 and Gonki.
Yeah, I totally got that as well.
Yeah. But Mel waddles over and emits a light through the center eye of the object, and a purple light shines out. And Phee utters, I was right. It's a compass. One from long before our time. And she goes on to say that the coordinates are in the Kaldar trinary system, another first mention. And Tech replies that he has no record of that system. But Phee retorts that the best treasures usually aren't found on maps, which is kind of weird because there's always treasure maps.
Yeah.
But Omega cuts in and she's like, there's treasure there?
Yeah. Lights right up.
Yeah. And Phee tells her without a doubt. She goes on to tell Omega that the compass is a rare find and she has a good eye. And this, like, for me is like a first indication, whereas Tech kind of just dismisses it. Like, no, it's junk. Get rid of it.
Right.
But she's like almost the mothering instinct.
Okay.
No, let me have a look, see what you got.
Yeah.
Before just dismissing it, right?
Well, she kind of, there's another sequence later on in the episode where she kind of does that. Let me look.
Yeah.
Which to me has the opposite effect. It's not endearing in the second instance where it's a little more here.
Like cut the kid a break. What did you find?
Yeah.
Because she is a kid, right? So despite what we keep forgetting.
That she's older than they are. Yeah.
But brimming with excitement, she turns to Hunter and pleads to go check it out, citing that they all heard what Phee said, but Hunter crosses his arms and replies, Phee says a lot of things. But Phee suggests that she could go herself and keep all the spoils, or they could go together and split it 50-50.
Yep.
And Omega questions, what if there is really treasure there? And Wrecker adds his 2 cents, noting that they're not on a mission right now, adding to her case, Omega jubilantly says, it could be fun.
So that's 2 weeks in a row that she's said that exact line about going somewhere to do something.
It could be fun.
And it reminds me that it's, everything through the eyes of a child.
Yeah.
Everything, it's a big world. It's a big galaxy. And everything is just this, what's the next wonderful thing I've never seen before?
Yeah. Even if it could kill you.
Right.
But at this point, Echo chimes in, noting that the last time they went after treasure, it didn't go as planned. But Phee snaps back, you weren't working with a professional then. And Mel beeps and whirs, and Phee puts the question to them one last time. Hunter gives a sigh and reluctantly nods his head yes.
Come on, Rambo, you're going.
Yep. We crossfade to find the Havoc Marauder cruising through space, and they approach a grayish planet with a single moon. Inside the ship, we find Omega doing her best Phee impression, with both of them using Mel as a footrest. She questions just how many uncharted planets Phee has been to, and she replies, too many to count. That's why she needs Mel to keep all track of all of them and all of the legends that she's chased down over the years. But that's the life of a treasure hunter.
I like that aspect. I know droids play such a significant role in Star Wars, and then to have a pirate who basically has a walking repository database,
Black book.
I mean, yeah, and I mean we've seen that before where like
Calrissian files.
Sure, or just like having I have this data pad that's I can just wizard up, I can just internet up something, but to have it physically contained within a droid where it's not connected to anything but the droid, I really like that. That physical.
Yeah, I got it with me at all times.
Yeah.
Walks around. from behind them, Hunter questions, "Don't you mean pirate?" And Phee casually fires back, "I prefer liberator of ancient wonders." And almost dismissively, she turns back to Omega and asks if she wants to hear about the time she found the blade of Zakata Par. And Omega responds with a resounding, "Yes, I do." And she begins her tale. Hunter looks on with a hint of disapproval before sheathing his vibroblade and walking away.
He's doing even more brooding in this episode.
Yes, he is.
Dark and broody.
I have a theory.
The blade of Zakata Par, another first time reference.
I was going to say, there's a lot of firsts in this episode.
Yeah.
You said you had a theory, Hank.
Well, maybe we'll talk about it a little further on in the episode. It's just,
oh, sure.
If we go back a slide, you see him with his arms folded, and in this, right there on the right in the middle.
Yeah.
And on the slide that we're on now, he's in the background fiddling with his knife. I really think that Hunter's struggling more with his role post-war than any of the other characters. He's their leader and he's a military commander.
Yeah.
And now he's not.
There's no war to fight.
Everybody else seems to be adapting, Tex finding things to keep himself busy. Wrecker's a child at heart and has another child that like literally play with. Echo has never really fit in and is recovering from his own sort of traumas. And I think that Hunter is struggling with his leadership role. Like he finding his purpose. And it comes up several more times in this episode. I think that might be the biggest sort of thing that's happening in this episode is watching Hunter maybe not break necessarily, but struggle for sure for the first time that we've really seen.
That's a really good analysis.
Extra spin on that though. The whole first season, right? He has had the role of Omega's protector in
that's
almost
so true.
father-like role. Yeah. And now all of a sudden here comes this pirate person filling her head full of all these tall tales and treasure hunting adventures. And it's kind of counterintuitive to some of the survival stuff that he's been teaching her.
That, and we also talked about it even back in the first episode in 201 about him having to dial back that fatherly protector because she by the end of season 1 they did acknowledge that yes, you are a part of the
you're going on mission
team,
you're one of us,
right? And they giving her the room to breathe, as it were, to develop as her own character.
And there's several times when they're in the dungeon, if you will, where he has to acquiesce to Fee's leadership, and you can just, I know it's not an actor, I know it's animation, but you can just feel like his I'm not used to this crap. Like he has very few lines for a guy that says a ton of stuff in terms of being in charge of the team.
He does.
Yeah. We crossfade and join the batch on approach to the barren planet, and they land in the shadow of a rocky cliff. And as they depart the ship, Tech scans for signs of life, but doesn't find any. And Phee makes her way to a dead-looking plant covered in thistles and thorns. Tech remarks that there is no sign of civilization anywhere. And he goes on to tell them that he's not surprised because the terrain looks like it's been razed and left uninhabitable. Echo questions who would want to hide treasure here. But as he does, a strange noise starts coming out of the compass, causing the batch to turn around and look at Echo. And he tells them the compass is just activated.
I got big vibes of what was the name in the Old Republic, Hank? Was it Korriban?
Korriban, yeah.
Yeah, I got kind of Korriban vibes out of this place.
Yeah, and absolutely. Which they later canonized, like retcon to be Moraband. They like it's basically a swap for swap.
Yeah.
In the Clone Wars, they use Moraband, but it's basically the Sith homeworld, right? That's what we're talking about.
Oh, we just had a bit of a lag.
Hiccup there.
We had a lag out there. I'm not sure what happened.
He's back.
Oh, you're back.
All right.
I'm back.
You were saying that it was a name swap.
I was just basically they use Moraband in canon in the Clone Wars, and it's
right
in the novels, in the legends. But isn't that the Sith homeworld?
It's the one that got exiled to.
I believe so. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yep. But back here, holding it up. He turns, listening for the sound to increase, and Echo estimates that it's leading them to the south. And full of excitement, Omega grabs the compass right out of his hand, proclaiming, "Let's go," as she darts off. And Phee tells the batch she's got the right attitude.
Yeah, completely fearless.
Yeah, before calling for Omega to wait up as she runs off to catch her. The batch exchange a couple of glances and follow along with Mel in tow into the harsh and inhospitable terrain. Rushing onward underneath intertwined dead tree limbs, Omega and Phee continue to push forward, following the directions of the compass. They come to a clearing, and shafts of light shine down through the gnarled trees. Omega looks forward and then back, and as she stares at the rock wall ahead, she wonders if they've reached a dead end. But Phee then postures, maybe it's telling us to go inside. Drawing a blade from her belt, Phee approaches the wall and jams the blade between two stones, and pulling downward, they begin to move. She reaches her hand into the darkness, feeling for any breeze, and then calling for the big guy to come help. Wrecker strides forward and wrenches the elder boulders loose, but in doing so, he causes more to collapse. Yeah, basically. He causes more rocks above to loosen and collapse. They all jump back, but when the dust settles, amidst the collapsed pile of boulders is a hidden doorway.
We're going into Moria.
That's yeah.
They have a cave troll?
I hope not. But full of wonder. Maybe. Full of wonder, Omega says, it's a secret entrance. And Wrecker, he parrots her statement, and Phee lights her lantern, and they move to the door. And as they enter, a four-legged creature stalks them from above. We don't get a very good glimpse of him yet. Phee shines her lantern around as they enter into the large circular chamber with ornate designs on the floors and walls. And Tech tells Hunter that the etchings on the walls are easily over 1,000 years old, but Phee suggests that they're older, much older. And scanning the walls, she tells them if she's right, which she always is, they're standing in the entrance to Scaranal.
That's where I kind of go, the guy just did an analysis of the thing, and you're going, oh, it's older than that. I get it. That they're playing her to be this experienced treasure hunter.
Yep.
But it's like, last time I checked, you didn't have x-rays in your eyes.
No.
It's that kind of like, oh. And I do get it. Like, yes, her experience counts for a lot in this case, and that it's probably like something she's seen before, but conveniently that you just happen to know.
Yeah.
We've also set up that, at least through the eyes of Hunter, that she exaggerates everything she says too.
Right. So again, is she just
pulling a little bit
out
of
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
Echo questions to what? And Phee goes on to tell them that every pirate out there has heard the legend of Scaranal. It dates back to the ancients. And Echo asks, the Jedi? But Phee says, no, older. Wrecker asks, what kind of treasure's in there? And Phee plainly tells them it's the heart of the mountain. And with a sly smile, she says, we're going to liberate it.
Liberator of antiquities.
Yeah. Omega asks how they're going to get in, but examining the room, there are stone rods jutting out from the wall, and Phee says it's Patron. These rods, though, bear a striking resemblance to the stones in the sci-fi classic The Fifth Element.
I don't know what you mean.
I know. This is like our first reference to that. It'll come up again, but Phee continues to tell them that they need to be aligned in the right order, and she sets her lantern down and begins to push one of the rods, and grinding forward, it moves the entire lower ring of the room. And looking at the other rods, Phee suggests a little help would be nice. So Wrecker again steps up and moves the second one into position, but the room starts to shake, and Hunter notes that it doesn't sound good. Behind them, the door slams shut, and from above, a boulder drops. Phee jumps and pushes Wrecker to safety, and the boulder misses them all. Hunter rushes forward to check on them as Wrecker sits on the floor and groans. Phee stands up and declares, booby traps. Now this is getting interesting. But Hunter snaps at her and that she's just gotten them trapped. Phee tells him to relax, as there's always a way out. They just have to find it. It's part of the puzzle. But Omega again opens the compass and looks through the shaded purple aperture. As she scans the room, she sees certain symbols are lit up through the compass. And telling the batch this, she jumps onto the boulder for a better vantage point. Phee suggests laying the compass on her lantern, and as she does, the room glows with a soft purple light, causing certain symbols to glow. Wrecker sets to moving the rings into the proper alignment, and the descriptive audio says that Hunter helps Wrecker with the last one, but it's actually Tech who helps out.
Take your helmets off. We can't tell who you are.
I've brought this up before that the folks doing the descriptive audio, like, are they?
I think they're doing it pre-seeing the episode.
Yeah, are they just being given a script and saying, "Here, read this"?
Yep.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure that they are.
It's really disheartening too, because it's like, I know that that Disney and Lucasfilm are spending a ton of money on this stuff, but like, guys, these are things that are easily fixed. The same as last week's, like, you just announced a racer that's not, you didn't even animate that guy. Just go back and cut the line out.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's weird that like we're getting these cracks in the armor, because I remember a lot of season 2 of our Mando, the Fandalorian episodes.
Yep.
I was calling the things that they were saying canon, like oh, they just called that a vibro axe. That's what it was.
Right.
Oh, that was a ray shield. Okay,
sure.
You know, like they named that planet there. That's gospel. But now I'm like, maybe it's not so much.
I'm kind of in the same boat, where it's like, I do rely on the descriptive audio quite a bit, and I do take a lot of what they say as rote, but like, there are just certain things, like the name of the character that you're talking about, like, we know. It's like,
looking at who it is, it should be listed as who it is.
Case in point, one of our videos that we on one of the streams, I called, I pulled a short video out of it, and I referred to the Time Grappler's anvil as an anvil, and we got a comment. It's a bell. I'm like, it's being used as a bell, but it is described as an anvil. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, the question is valid. So yeah, interesting though. Like you say, chinks in the armor, I guess.
Yep. But with the final rod in place, a rectangle with 6 points on it glows at the top of the row, and the room momentarily shakes as the floor begins to rotate, opening both the door behind them and a new door in front of them. The musical score in this episode, though, if you haven't noticed it by now, you have to go back and give it a listen, because Kevin Kinnear has knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, it's really good. The music has been solid the whole every episode so far, as far as I'm concerned.
Like last episode was more of a techno
yeah.
But this one, he is nailing it with callbacks to like the Indiana Jones franchise.
Oh, it's very John Williams here.
Yeah,
crazy John Williams style score.
Phee, she kneels down and tells Mel to note the coordinates and wait here, and then turning to Omega, she tells her it's time to go exploring. Wrecker is the first in after him, citing, "Looks like we're doing this," and Tech follows next, them with telling them, his curiosity's piqued. Echo gives Hunter a nod and enters as well, and Hunter pauses a moment, looking back at the exit before moving forward. The group move along a narrow path, each with their lights shining, and as they walk along, Omega asks exactly what is the heart of the mountain, and Phee tells her that it's a rare crystalline stone. And she goes on to tell her that some say it's the key to an ancient power, which makes it worth more than she can possibly fathom.
Yeah.
Oh, we got our first comment coming in here from Toy Connections.
Oh, it's our friend Ken over at Toy Connections. Oh, I got to catch up on these episodes.
Yes, you do. They're pretty good.
Ken. Thanks for dropping by anyway, buddy. He's got no logo too. Did you see it? He's got a new logo too.
Bring it up here one more time.
Is that a new one? That's not a new one, is it? That's
the
same one. I believe that's the same one.
Oh, is it? It's beautiful. Sorry,
I like it.
We've been doing new logos and stuff, so
we've been doing a lot. Sorry, Andy's been doing a lot of new logos. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
If head over an 80s fandom,
head over and check out the merch shop, because there are a ton of new pop culture inspired Fandom Power logos over there for you to chew on, and
watch us take liberties.
Get yourself a t-shirt or a coffee mug if you so are inclined,
or a magnet or a sticker.
You know what? Just get one of everything.
There you go.
Get one of everything.
But back here, Tech announces that he's completed his preliminary analysis of the stone slabs, and they predate the Republic. He also states that Phee may be onto something. A few steps ahead, though, Phee and Omega spin around, and Phee calls out, "Hey, tough guys, want to pick up the pace?" But scanning the high walls, Hunter moves for his blaster.
Right.
And Omega questions, "Hunter?" Just then, a loud growl echoes through the caves, and a plume of dust falls down from one of the round tubes above them. Now on high alert, the batch scan for a source of the noise. Wrecker turns, and from another unseen hole in the ceiling, a large, hairless creature leaps onto him, snapping its wide jaws inches from his face. Wrecker holds it off while the rest of the batch fire on it. And
I got pitch black vibes.
very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Wrecker's our Vin Diesel stand-in.
Absolutely. He's the one for this.
Yep.
But it crawls back up the tube, trying to take him with it. And he continues to punch the beast until it drops him. And with Wrecker clear, the batch unload on the creature, causing it to retreat. But all the shots have an unintended consequence of causing a cave-in, leaving Omega, Phee, and Hunter on one side, and Echo, Tech, and Wrecker on the other.
Zillow Beast.
Yeah. Facebook user comment.
Zillow Beast.
Yeah.
Similar.
Oh, you know,
But I'm going to say no based on the really clear shot we get of it later.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
Unless it's like some baby version.
it has a similar, like, writhing the way the body movement is, but the Zillow Beast, I mean, was like a flatworm, like a bunch of
Kinda,
flatworms all stuck together. No claws.
Not on that, no.
Yeah.
But like this thing clearly has claws.
Oh,
Does
yeah.
Wrecker
Yes.
snap its horns off?
Uh,
That last scene.
maybe.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't get close to the horns, but we'll get
Oh.
there.
Oh, that's coming up.
Follow-up comment, impenetrable.
This is true.
That is true. Yeah.
It
That is
covered
true.
with some sort of plating. But Omega radios for them, pleading for them to answer. And on the other side, the three clones dust themselves off, and Echo answers back that they're okay, but there's too much debris to get through. Tech says the readings aren't clear, but he can track their position, and they will catch up using some side tunnels and rendezvous at the other end. Phee says, "Good, then we'll keep looking for treasure." And she turns to Hunter and says, "What? That's what we're here for." And nonchalantly, she says, "They'll be fine. Come on. Fortune awaits." Omega and Hunter hold for a moment and then follow Phee in the dark. Later on, Phee, Omega, and Hunter exit the tunnels and enter into another huge room covered in markings. And at the end of the room is another large door. Another growl faintly echoes behind them, and Hunter pushes forward, saying they need to keep moving. He shines his light around the opening as he continues forward, stepping on raised tiles with markings and etched on them.
So there's a funny thing here I gotta say about real life and this episode. When I was watching it for the very first time, Lauren wasn't watching it. She was cooking dinner, and she walked over because she often will just come and just kind of check it out. And she literally walked over and said, "Why is the tunnel upside down?"
Oh,
Before, like I swear to God, she just walked over. Why is the tunnel upside down? And I think it's because of the U shape in that scene right there, where it looks like a doorway
yeah,
upside
like an
down.
archway.
But I didn't even it didn't even register until like
No,
30 seconds later. When go ahead, Andy. Sorry, but
It's all
that was
good,
so
though.
cool.
But
She'd be
it's a
hella
It's a good
bonus
point,
in a
though.
dungeon voice.
Look at I mean, classic science fiction, which I include Star Wars in that. Every porthole, and I don't mean like portal, I mean like access way in a hallway on a ship. You know, it could have very easily have been just a round doorway, and now you step over the bulkhead and you're in the next compartment.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't think twice about it. I'm just like, oh, that's just the way it is.
No.
Yeah.
Good for Lauren, though.
Great.
Yeah,
catch.
that was super. I was like, wow, freaky.
But Phee calls to hang on as this is too easy. And Omega shines her light through the compass and notices the tiles on the ceiling are glowing. But Phee, she yells for Hunter to stop, but it's too late and the floor collapses under his feet and he falls into a dark opening. They rush forward to help, but in a flash, Hunter already has thrown his grappling hook in an effort to stop his fall.
Now, did he manually throw that, or is this a new gadget? Because I got the impression that this came from a forearm, like
It kind of looked Batman-esque, yeah. Like
it was like propelled, not like, oh crap, like hand thrown. I thought it was
Boba has the tether in his wrist,
yes,
he does.
like when he wraps Skywalker up in Return of the Jedi. So maybe something like that.
It's quite
I also got
possible.
the impression that he was pissed that it was her that saved him and not himself.
Maybe.
But they rush forward anyway, and Phee grabs a hold of the grappling hook. And as Hunter climbs back with that assist, he pulls himself up over the edge, and Fee's grip on the cable slips, causing Omega to fall backwards on the floor. And as she's laying there recovering for a second, she flashes the light up again and cites that she thinks they have to walk on the ceiling. And Phee confirms it, saying her thoughts exactly.
Why is the tunnel upside down?
Yeah. But here's another point for Hunter, though. Winded, he looks at Phee and says, "You're making this up as you go." But Phee says, "That's the part of the fun. Loosen up, Bandana. You're in good hands." And he gruffly tells her that they've almost died 3 times already. But Omega has continued to scan the room while they're arguing, and she's found a compass-sized slot in the wall. And trying to misdirect, Phee tells Hunter this reminds her of the time she tracked down the Belmont diadem, but Hunter cuts her off, saying, "I don't care."
Yeah.
And dismissively, Phee says, "Ooh, someone's in a mood." But Hunter
I
says,
just about died.
Yeah, Hunter says he's only interested in getting them out alive. So we'll divert here for a second because the Belmont diadem.
Castlevania.
Well, actually, that's one possibility. But for those who don't know, a diadem is an ornamental headband worn as a badge of royalty.
Yes.
So basically a crown. And there is history of crowns within the Star Wars universe. And there is a Belmont in the Star Wars universe whose lineage could entail a diadem.
Oh, okay.
And he is a member of the Ralaran race. They have first appeared in the Timothy Zahn novel Spectre of the Past.
Oh.
They're tall bipedal humanoids with thick brown shell plates covering their bodies and feeding spikes on their face. Though they have a very imposing appearance, they were among the most peaceful and spiritual cultures in the galaxy.
Interesting.
Which brings us to the fan-created, Force-sensitive Ralaran, Carolina Belmont.
Okay.
Who was the son of an Ulyala on his homeworld of Relnus Minor.
Okay.
Unyalas were the tribal leaders of that race, and as such, could have been adorned with crowns representing that status. So it's quite possible that the Belmont diadem is a relic from this history, because this Carolyn Belmont would go on to become a Jedi Master.
Interesting.
And based on what they did last episode,
canonizing a piece of fan created.
Yeah. Is it possible that they've just done it again with a work?
Well, that's, that's a really good question. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, it's certainly possible. I think of like Simon Belmont from Castlevania, right? Like, we're going to go hunt some stuff.
Yeah.
Which
also makes sense.
A lot of tomb raiding.
Tomb Raider-ish.
Is that the right way? Tomb
cool,
raiding.
That's a really nice grab. That's super possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. This particular article comes from the Star Wars Fanon site.
Oh, sure.
So it's all the fan fiction on their wiki there. So if you want to go read up more, there you go. But back to here. Meanwhile, Omega has placed the compass in the opening and softly says, "It fits." Suddenly, there's a hiss in the tunnel, and the glyphs on the ceiling begin to light up. Omega then turns the compass dial, and the tunnel starts turning until the glowing tiles are underfoot. Omega picks up a small rock and tosses it down the tunnel, and watching it bounce across the glowing tiles until it comes to rest at the other doorway. Omega says it's all clear and tries to reclaim the compass, but it won't budge.
Like the tossing the pebble out.
Yeah, make sure that the floor is not going to fall again.
Mm-hmm.
Only the penitent shall pass.
Yeah. But Phee says it's served its purpose. Scaranal has reclaimed it. And Omega echoes her statement and then marches on. Hunter says, so we have to navigate this death trap without it? And Phee slyly says, it's a good thing you have me. Hunter gives a long sigh and they move out, walking on the glowing tiles.
It's funny because he navigates death traps every episode without griping at all.
Yeah.
Like that's all they do is navigate death traps that they end up getting themselves into, and this one has him so frustrated. I really feel for Hunter in this episode.
Technically, he willingly walked into this one.
Yeah.
That's true. He did hum and haw about it though before
He
they
did, no,
left.
all the rest of the group made the decision before he was like, okay.
It's just like the last one. We all took a vote. And you can see you did what? What do you mean you voted? Since when was this a democracy?
Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's what I mean by him having to question his personal role in things. If he's not the leader of this group anymore, where does he fit in? Because everybody else seems to be finding a niche.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not clear anymore for him.
Yeah, nothing's cut and dry anymore.
No, it's not.
I mean, if any one of them were to walk off into the sunset, sort of, I could see it being him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like my work is done.
I mean, you could always go back and find Cut's family, and
that's like I could see him identifying with that sort of life, Yeah. Also, it's not lost on me that characters that are this diametrically opposed often end up in relationships.
Oh man,
you know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh. Riding off into the sunset with Phee?
Maybe.
Hey,
give him some purpose.
I mean, he's already got the bandana and the crazy face tattoo. He might make a good pirate.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that's classic trope though. The two characters that are butting heads.
Yeah.
That's like, get a room, guys.
He'd have to lighten up a little bit, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He's rough around the edges right now. But elsewhere, Echo, Wrecker, and Tech follow through a round stone tunnel, and Tech pauses, citing that something ahead is affecting his scans. Echo tries to radio Hunter, but the comms are down as well. And ahead, a rock falls, and Wrecker blurts out, "It's that thing!" But Echo tells him it's just in your head. And then the three push on and come to yet another etched stone door. They draw their blasters and rush through, only to find Omega, Hunter, and Phee waiting on the other side.
The other side, yeah.
And Hunter questions what took him so long. And excitedly, Omega tells them Phee thinks we're getting close to the treasure.
Can we talk about that that opening for a second?
Sure.
I don't necessarily mean the doorway itself, but I mean, am I supposed to believe that's cobwebs hanging off of the cave, or is that like slime?
Maybe.
Like whatever lives in here, that creature that did they bore through it kind of like sandworm Dune style?
Maybe.
Yeah. Or
alien vibe. I totally get that.
Right. Is that melted? Like, is they spit
right,
on? Is that
right.
Metal?
Is that just another simple pop culture reference, or do you think
maybe?
I don't know.
I mean, it couldn't be something like as simple as a stalactite or something.
No, I mean it's even the corridor that they're in is round,
it's been
bored out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But examining the etches on this latest door, Tech inquires, "What type of puzzle is this?" And Phee, she tells him, "Don't overthink it, Brown Eyes," as she runs her hands over the door. And pulling up a latch, she says, "Sometimes a door is just a door."
You know what's funny? As she was saying the line, I found myself saying it with her, and all I could think about was every game of Dungeons and Dragons I've ever played.
Yeah.
Sometimes a door is just a door.
Never. But like a propeller, one of the ornamental outer pieces on the door starts spinning as it slides to the side. And Phee looks over and gives Omega a wink. Shining their lights into the darkened room, the light catches a shining dark crystal with a purplish light emanating from it. Phee declares that's the heart of the mountain, and making her way across a steep ledge, she moves towards the crystal, and we get a really clear shot of it.
Yep.
And again, there's no denying this thing resembles those Fifth Element stones.
The stones from the Fifth Element, yeah.
Yeah, even more here. But Phee climbs down and eventually makes it to the crystal. And she kneels beside it, examining it. And here, this might as well be the idol scene at Raiders. Because not only is she, Phee is like examining the idol,
Yeah,
but Omega
yeah.
is like proper mimicking Alfred Molina's character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
But Phee, she grabs a hold of the crystal and rotates it and pulls it free of the base. And no sooner as she does that, but the whole place begins to shake and rumble.
We just activated the fifth element.
or the boulder.
Kim had reminded me about what happened to Lilu when they put them all, when they arranged them and out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
Like, oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is that a Zord?
We'll get to that.
Okay. It was like, wait a minute.
Pop culture references abundant.
Like, wait, is that a Zord in there?
The others jump down further into the room as the rocks began to fall, and Phee clutches the crystal, and the etched lines in the floor begin to glow. Outside of the mountain, we see a beam of energy erupt from the top of the mountain, shooting into the sky. Still on a ledge, Hunter, he saves Omega from falling, and as the shaking continues. And outside, the beam of light turns into an explosion of molten rock as something rises from the mountain.
Not gonna lie here, talking about the crystal and going back to when she was talking about the heart of the mountain being in crystal, did anybody think Kyber?
Maybe.
Given the significance of Kyber in Star Wars as of late, I kind of thought maybe that is.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of always
Kyber.
I totally default to Kyber every time I see a crystal in Star Wars.
I do now.
I got like a little Men in Black sort of, heart of the galaxy, heart of the mountain.
Yeah, okay.
It's got a universe inside it, just like the little, the
little
marble
marbles
or whatever.
What do you mean, the snow globe that we're all living in?
Yeah. Hey, we'll talk about it off camera.
Okay,
the Earth's core stopped spinning.
Oh, that's crazy too, eh?
We haven't flown off the surface yet.
Not yet.
No, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird and neat.
The mole men are coming.
Maybe.
But and I look forward to working in their underground sugar caves.
As this thing, whatever it is rising out, it's kind of reminiscent of like Godzilla or possibly a Megazord from Power Rangers rising from the fiery pits.
All that was missing was the monster.
Yeah. It's a little Go Lion action.
Yeah. At the base of the mountain, Mel scrambles out amongst the falling rocks. And inside, the batch begin to slide down the walls as the room rotates around them. Outside, Mel turns and sees this huge mech on 4 legs rise up out of the mountain. And it begins to walk forward.
So I'll pause here for a second. Go back to our Zillow Beast comment. Pull that up again. Remember when the marketing for this for the season came out and there was this sequence in the marketing and people were like, oh, it looks like the Zillow Beast is coming back. Is that what we're seeing here? Or is there an appearance from another Zillow Beast later on?
I don't know.
Gonna have to go back and look at the season 2 trailer again.
I have to watch that. Yeah, this thing reminds me a lot of the how is it, the Reek? One of the creatures from the Geonosis.
The Reek was the rhino looking thing.
Yeah, I know. So the
Acklay? The
Acklay,
right, with the finned head
and the thick forward arms. Kind of, I know they don't end in points necessarily,
and giant lobster claws.
Yeah, but we'll break down this beast in a little bit here.
Nice.
It's Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, kind of.
Essentially, to me, anyway.
Yeah, but inside, the batch stagger to their feet, and Tech says he suspects this isn't a treasure vault, and Omega calls out, "Well, then what is it?" And Echo states, good question. But outside on it, we see a circular depression in the mech's head, and it lights up, sparking and building until it shoots an energy beam, destroying everything in its path.
Because that doesn't look like Gojira's energy breath weapon.
Well, not at all. But it's also a very War of the Worlds type vibe here.
That too.
With their land machines.
From the main deflector of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
As the energy beam stops inside the head, the blinding light subsides, and Tech relays that whatever they're standing in just is as highly destructive and just emitted a massive energy surge. And Wrecker asks what they can do to shut it down. But Tech arrives at the conclusion, since the removal of the heart is what activated it, putting it back should shut it down.
Yeah.
But Phee, she's clutching the crystal close and tight and pleading. Phee questions, do you know how much this is worth? It's what we came here for. Can't you find a separate kill switch or something? But then Hunter puts it to her, their ship is out there, and if it gets destroyed, you're going to be stuck on this planet. So reluctantly, she agrees and holds the crystal out to him, but then tells him flat, you owe me. So again, is she on that Sid-like vibe where I lost this, so I'm going to hold you to it?
It's a hard one to, I owe you what? You dragged me out here.
Yeah.
yeah.
You dragged me out here. What do I owe you?
Yeah, that's a check that might never be cashed for sure.
Or does it get cashed sooner than
I tell you what, when I give you a ride home, we'll call it even because I could just leave your ass here.
Yeah.
Just then, something growls behind them, and a doorway begins to pry open from the outside. I don't know if it's another one or the same one, but the cave monster is back.
Yeah.
It wrenches the door open and leaps inside. The batch open fire on it, and Phee falls backwards, dropping the crystal down a crevice. The creature, it bounds around the room, dodging blaster fire.
Well, that's definitely our best look at it.
We get a better one yet.
It almost gives me
dog-like vibes,
Cloverfield vibes,
a little bit.
A bit. The face of it.
It looks like an evil tauntaun.
Yes, with the ram horns,
with the color palette of
yeah.
Definitely the color
gray.
palette.
Oh yeah,
Doomsday,
gray.
Though.
Oh, the gray. Also tauntaun colors.
True.
Gray.
But Phee runs, telling them, you guys deal with the creature, and I'll retrieve the crystal. And that's kind of like the moment. Is she going to take it and run, or is she going to come back?
Where's she going to go?
Out.
Steal the ship.
Yeah.
Very pirate thing to do.
Run like hell.
Jack Sparrow it down the beach.
Yeah. We already had that one.
I was going to say.
I mean, that thing is huge that they're in. They got to be a couple hundred stories up.
Yeah.
And they pull it back. It's not just like your average mech. That thing is towering above a mountain.
Yep. Yeah.
Phee climbs down and tries to grab the crystal as the batch continue to fend off the creature. But the crystal falls as the mech lurches forward, and it comes to rest on a platform near a window. And Phee snatches it up, but as the mech unleashes another energy blast, she's thrown out the window, and only the presence of a cable stops her from falling to her death. Holding the cable with one hand and the crystal with the other, she begins to slide down. But just as she's about to fall, Hunter reaches out and saves her, pulling her back inside. And she rests for a moment, but Hunter tells them, we're not out of it yet, and we got to keep moving.
Legacy line.
Relationship.
So, legacy line.
True.
We're not out of this yet.
And is this him cashing that? Or
I don't know you anymore.
Yeah, here, I just saved your ass.
We're even.
Yeah.
Relationship.
Outside, Mel shuffles forward, trying to avoid the oncoming devastation. But the mech moves its head and tilts it in Mel's direction and unleashes another energy blast. And unfortunately destroys the little droid.
Poor Mel. I actually thought he was gonna Mel, just deke, man. Deke left or right. That's all you gotta do. No.
You call him he, but interesting point here. Descriptive audio calls Mel a she.
Oh, as in Melanie.
Yeah.
Oh,
so is
very
droid gender
interesting.
now a canon thing?
But it has been since L337.
Fair enough.
Yeah, for sure it has.
Yeah.
Okay. Because again, that grain of salt descriptive audio, but
I mean, the 3PO refers to R2 as a he.
I'm trying to think now.
He's faulty, sir, malfunctioning.
Yeah. Is L3 the first openly or like on the nose female persona droid we've seen in Star Wars?
I don't know.
No. The protocol droid in Phantom Menace at the very beginning.
Oh, that's right. You're right. With serving the drinks.
Yep.
I know exactly what you mean. The silver one.
That's probably the first one that I can think of, but
right.
There might be another one.
No, you're right. Now I'm gonna have to do some Legends research now.
Mm-hmm.
But back inside, the cave monster continues to bound around and knocks Echo to the floor.
Oh yeah, you did. You were right.
There's a really good shot of him, so you see, it's almost dog-like.
Yeah,
but he does have a tail. So, just as it's about to pounce on Omega, Wrecker grabs the beast by the back leg, but it kicks him back and cracking the glass of one of the huge red domed windows. Turning its attention back to Omega, Wrecker again catches it by the surprise, this time by the tail, though, and he begins to yank the beast back. Tech and Omega continue to unload on the creature, but its body is covered in thick armor-like plating. Another comment coming in here.
That's an interesting thought. From Facebook, Mel and Hunter's relationship reminds me of Mel Gibson and Goldie Hawn in Bird on a Wire. That's interesting. I think what they mean here is Phee and Hunter.
Phee
and Hunter's relationship. Yeah, Bird on a Wire.
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and watch that now too.
But as Wrecker pulls the beast back, he calls for them to shoot the window, which they do, and it shatters the glass of the first pane and cracks the second. Wrenching the beast back, he swings it and hurls it towards the window, and it crashes through the remaining cracked glass and falls to its apparent death.
So I wondered, do we think, just between the three of us, do we think the fall
killed it enough? I think maybe. Like
I say, that's thousands of feet in the air, in my estimation.
Yeah.
You're looking down
hundreds for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I know on Earth, if you were 100 stories, that's 10 feet per story, or 1,000 feet.
1,000 feet.
And you're looking at those tree lines, like from a low plane there,
yeah, true. Yep. I'll give you that.
It looked massive to me, especially the long shots.
Right.
It stepped out of a mountain and then towered above said mountain.
Yeah, the mountain crumbled around it.
Well, if you liken it to, the end scene of Tremors, where the worm creature, who its hide was like impenetrable for shots.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The mouth was good. Even when it flew out, though, and fell that distance.
Yeah.
Gravity took care of the rest.
That's true.
I also say somebody run through the lightsaber in the gut would die, but we've seen that not happen 3 times now.
Apparently, you can survive that 2 times. At least.
But Wrecker, he calls out to Tech to do something. And as he tries to interface with the control panel, he calls back saying nothing is working. And the mech head, it swivels until the Havoc Marauder is in its sights, and it lumbers forward towards it.
I'm at this point in the episode, I'm wondering, is it semi-autonomous? I don't think it's sentient. It probably has some kind of programming, a la Gort
threat assessment or something.
Gort.
I don't want to go back a bunch of frames, but when we first got here and they were flying in over the mountain, when I rewatched it the second time, I was noticing there looked like there was
a lot of cart paths.
Right, this from the last time
from the beam, right?
Yeah.
Is this a callback to the day the Earth stood still, like that idea?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, there's shades of that for sure. I think this is just that type of weapon that it's just when it's on, it's on. It's you drop it on this planet and it's going to destroy it. Perhaps until they found the key or whatever thousands of years ago. That's what happened to this planet. This one single creature or machine.
Just walked around until it was done.
So now the bigger question is, who made it? How many of these are in the galaxy? What were their purpose?
We'll get to that.
I got 3 thoughts that we'll get into.
I'll give you one right now. This is me just throwing this at the wall. This is a seed for the Acolyte.
Yeah. Although I mean, that's only 100 years ago. I think that there might be, we're going further than that too. I think with some of the stuff we're about to get into with the Old Republic and stuff, I think we're going further back in time.
Okay.
And this, to me, it feels like either Sith Empire or Rakata, like really old stuff. Really ancient stuff. I mean, they had world destroyers like that, stuff that they had created, or even the Mandalorian. I can't remember the race name. Forgive me, but the ancestral Mandalorians. Which a lot of fans have been speculating that creature at the end of the Mando 3 trailer
may actually
possibly
be
right.
Okay.
And another ancient, highly technological race bent on destruction. Well, I mean, of which there are many in Star Wars, of course.
Yeah.
But back here inside, Hunter and Phee, they're back on the top level, and Hunter tosses the crystal to Tech. Once more, the descriptive audio gets it wrong, saying that Wrecker tossed the crystal to Tech as opposed to Hunter. But whatever.
We know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Again, the energy beam, it starts to power up, and Tech struggles to mount the crystal back in place. But Omega helps steady it and guide it towards the mount, and they attach the crystal, turning it and locking it in place, causing the beam to power down just in time.
Seems like kind of like the reverse of a Kyber, using Kyber to power something, not to depower it.
True.
Maybe it's not Kyber then.
Maybe it's, but it does focus.
Yeah.
Because the crystal, it begins to glow and spark, causing the batch to back up.
Yeah.
But
Until
the energy is too much for it, and the crystal begins to melt.
As it slags.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So outside, we see the mech start to explode from its joints, and it begins to topple over. And Echo calls for everyone to hang on to something, because there's not the
what are you going to do?
action hero moment. Hang on to something.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. They rush to the side of the room as electricity arcs about. And the head of the mech, it blows up and finally comes to rest on the hill overlooking the Marauder. And as the crew walks out through one of the broken windows amidst the smoke and sparks, you really get a great scale.
Oh yeah,
because there's just how big this thing is.
It's huge.
Yeah.
You know, there more trappings here in those shots with the cracked. It's almost like, I don't want to say lava, but whatever is, whether it's like, is it blood? What is it? But very Sith evocative with the color palette, the reds and the oranges.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's true.
Ancient Sith tech.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. Could be.
But Tech cites that this puts them 0 for 2 in treasure hunting, even with a professional. But looking for the silver lining, Omega says, well, we did find the heart of the mountain. The legend was real. And Phee tells them that's the right attitude to have.
Does that further suggest that she's just BSing it the whole time?
Maybe. Because she comes away with nothing too.
Is the jury still out on that one? Do we think she was just full of crap the whole time, or
shreds?
I mean, just saying names, like, you know.
So they're in right there. How much research do we put in on an episode? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And to come away from an episode where every name drop,
almost
every name drop is a first timer,
right?
And I mean, we are fond of saying everything is intentional.
Yep.
I mean, they just went to a system that was uncharted.
That's also true. That is also true.
Yeah.
That's 2 in a row as well. New planets.
Yep.
2 episodes in a row, I should say.
This is the perfect format. This type of show is the perfect format for galaxy expansion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
You don't have to dive in too hard on the locals.
The stakes can be high. They can be Tython high. They can be Mount Tannis high. But they can also be light and airy, and we can just throw creatures and planets and alien races like. And,
we got to go to Tatooine last week without actually going to Tatooine.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which was almost refreshing. But here we cut back to morning, and the batch have made their way back to the ship. And Hunter says at least no one can ever activate that thing again. And Phee chimes in, so what you're saying is it's a good thing we came here after all. And Omega, she offers his condolences about Mel. But Phee says, oh, it happens all the time. And she keeps a backup on her ship's databank. And she then confidently tells them that Mel will be rebuilt before they head to Vadnais.
I did like that, the fact that there is a backup.
Yeah.
So good for her that she's at least thorough that way.
So it's not like the droid isn't just a throwaway tool.
No, yeah.
Valuable to her. Like a companion.
Like Hondo uses Ugnuts and Melchi.
But Omega asks, what's on Vadnais? And Phee spins around saying that she has a lead on a certain chalice. Very ancient. And Hunter mutters, really? But Phee, with her arm around Omega, leads them on, telling her, legend has it that the chalice once belonged to the kingdom of Elways, lost over a millennia ago. And Hunter shakes his head, and we hear an enamored Omega let out a really drawn out, wow.
I immediately went to, you're going after the Holy Grail?
Well, there's your nod. Both Vadnais and, again, the kingdom of Elways are mentioned here for the first time, with no previous ties that I could find. But like you say, the mention of a chalice could just be another nod to the Holy Grail in Last Crusade.
That posits a very interesting question about religion in Star Wars, that there must be countless faiths for them to go and explore. So I mean, if you wanted to tell Indiana Jones stories, you have no end of stories you could tell.
And like considering the Easter eggs that are already left behind in that franchise.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't it be weird to just,
I'm not gonna lie,
tie them?
And the Incredible Fan movie.
Yes.
So
everything
you can call me crazy, but when they got to this planet and it was like completely decimated, and they go inside they go into Mordor, and they get to that first door where they actually see that it's like square and sharp lines, and okay, somebody built this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
In my mind, I was repeating the line, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And I'm like, is this Earth? Is this ancient Earth? Is this like Earth's past?
Middle Earth?
Well, maybe.
But,
and then
it's possible.
It's not. Yeah.
I mean, E.T. recognizes Yoda, and then we have E.T.'s in Phantom Menace,
in the Phantom,
and we have Elliot holding a Greedo and a Boba Fett going, what's going on here?
They have Earth has been mentioned a couple times in Star Wars. They have yet to, on the nose, like pass by like a ship flying by, or like making an overt. That's
there's no
Earth,
Battlestar Galactica action for sure.
No. Yeah. Do you think that somewhere down the line that there is somebody bold enough to actually put it on the nose and go, here it is, that's Earth?
I mean, it's possible. What they're dealing with in the comics, especially in the High Republic stuff, is they're starting to go outside the galaxy and talk about other galaxies.
Okay.
Like really expanding the Star Wars universe, if you will.
So not gonna lie, that's where my mind went. I actually thought, we're gonna go to like ancient Earth or something, or post-apocalyptic Earth, or there'll be some visual nod, like a burned out
Statue of Liberty. We could get a
Star Wars Planet of the Apes. Yeah.
Damn you, you damn dirty Wookiees.
But here, finally, the Marauder, it lifts off and banks away from the smoldering wreckage of the mech, and we fade to black.
I like the episode. I'm not gonna lie.
I like it a lot more now that I've reviewed it with you guys. I tell you
Isn't
what.
that the case?
I didn't dislike it before, but because when we put all our conjoined sort of references and things together, yeah.
So let's take a moment here, though, to give a shout out to our descriptive audio guy.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's Jamie Treacher, known for his roles in George and the Dragon as Captain Darcy.
Oh, okay.
DC Hughes in the BBC EastEnders.
EastEnders.
And Pegasus Radar Man in Wing Commander.
Pegasus
crazy.
Radar Man.
Freddie Prinze Jr. There's another
Star Wars reference. Yeah, that's our Kanan Jones.
So let's tweet this guy pictures of characters and pictures of their names. Our good friend Jamie. And we'll just helping him out.
Yeah. But that's not all we got. Let's talk about
you got more? Okay, let's keep going. Keep going. Yep.
Let's talk about this giant mech for a minute.
You mean the Dragon Zord?
Basically.
Oh, crap.
Uh-huh.
What is that?
So some folks online are comparing it to ancient Zepho technology.
Oh, wow.
Similar to what was seen in Jedi Fallen Order. And others think that it resembles something closer maybe to an ancient Sith weapon, or maybe even the Colossus from Mass Effect.
Right.
There's been no definitive answer yet from Lucasfilm, but it seems odd that none of our characters will be able to ID the mech if it was an already established technology. But looking at the Jeffo Tomb Guard, there is definitely some echoing elements there.
The idea that it's at least 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
Man.
But when she says it predates the Republic, which Republic is it? The first or the second? Like, is it the current Republic, which has been there for 1,000 years?
I was going to say the Republic
or
has stood
is it
for
the High Republic from 20,000 years ago.
That's a good question. It's hard to say.
I mean, all we know is it's not the Third Republic.
I mean that head shape
it's pretty consistent with the
and
species.
the layering of the plating. Like it's not wow. That's not lost on me that is a very strong. There's a
Yeah.
strong argument to be made here.
Yeah. But
I think the original Sith race were like serpentine too, like had like hooded, almost like cobra cowl style heads
Right,
too, and
right.
it
which
Yeah.
would actually
reminds
fit
me
as
of that
well.
stuff too.
Well, maybe.
Man, that's real cool.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some pretty ancient stuff going on in Fallen Order.
Well, Survivor's about to come out here, so I mean that. Keep your eyes open.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your eyes peeled, because
I mean,
maybe
absolutely would they would 100% start weaving those things together. Like you could almost say that Fallen Order is a series or on its own. Like I don't know. I must have played that game for 40 hours, so it's longer than the more episodes of that, if you will, than the Mandalorian. In terms of sheer hours spent. So
I'm very very interested to see where this will turn up again next, because I feel like it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, because like you look at the energy weapon itself, and it's got shades of Death Star.
Yeah, I mean, but that mega weapons, super weapons are like just a fundamental piece of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right?
So how many of these are out there? Where'd they come from?
I mean, it's maybe some Sun Crusher technology. I don't know. Who knows?
The Rakata had the Planet Annihilator tech.
Well, that's it, right? Like, is this part of? And I mean, we've already had Luthen, who's made a reference to the going back to the Kyber, how it's a symbol of the Rakatan Empire.
And that's another deep dive into throwaway line. That's a deep dive into the universe,
coming from a guy who is at least superficially is a history buff.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that was the other thing that I didn't get to, but I really wanted to. I wanted to go back through Luthen's gallery.
Oh, well,
like,
we were very thorough.
Resembling? Well, I know we were thorough.
We were pretty thorough on that.
The headdress, you pointed out the name for the headdress.
Yeah.
It's like a giant pearl. Would that have, aside from
it have
like,
been?
oh, look, the Great Dragon Pearl.
Right.
What is it sitting there without us knowing it?
Now that brings up a whole bunch of other questions, because now you're like, was the art department in Andor the show that had no Easter eggs, by the way, because it's not about there's no there's no fan service in Andor except what the art department snuck in there.
They would have wrote every name on the friggin' wall, I'll tell you.
Well, you know what, that came up. You sent a link over, and I'm not going to mention the channel, but another channel had talked about that sequence about the wall, and talking about how disappointing that it was that they didn't name everybody. And I am firmly convinced that to have written all of the names and CT numbers on the wall would have written them into a corner, because those are numbers that you can no longer use to tell stories for people who are alive.
Sure.
Yes and no.
I mean,
because if you look at them, like,
you just would have had to have that master list on with the story group to carry on. Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you look at them as the Emperor did, that they are literally just a resource. Who gives a crap if he's dead or alive? Just post this list here, and if he made it out, he made it out.
Interesting. I think it's a holdover, though. I don't believe that the Empire erected that. I believe that is a holdover from the Republic.
Yeah,
Ahsoka runs across it before.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean,
Order 66. It's a memorial for the
Geonosis during the reign of the Republic. He still had to keep up appearances, and that's something that you would do.
I get the impression that for the first maybe 15 years of the Empire, he was trying to keep up appearances.
Yeah.
Like until the Aldhani incident. In fact.
Yeah.
They try to hide the destruction of Jeddah.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. What is there to hide from if you have the Death Star?
We still have the mining accident on that planet
where he lost his sister.
Right.
But it was no mining accident.
Oh man. Wow, that was
seeds planted. So yeah, that was episode 5.
Entombed.
Wow. So, amen.
we'll be back again in a week's time with episode 6. Do we know the title? Have we? Have you
We
looked
do,
ahead?
but I haven't.
I haven't looked ahead. I don't know.
I haven't committed it to memory.
It's almost February.
It is.
Guys, I just want to. I know I don't want to sound like a broken record here. Give me a second here to pull this up because
is it
really
February?
cool. It's not. It's almost.
Days, it will
5
be.
degrees.
It is
today.
Almost.
It's going to be 7 degrees tomorrow.
That's
Where I
fantastic.
am.
Guys, at the end of December, we were asking your help to help us get to 100 subscribers. And I know that I've said this before. And I probably sound like a
we
broken
wish you
record.
had responded.
And as I said before, we crushed that in under 24 hours. So we extended our 100 subscriber contest, and we put on a stretch goal of 200. That if we could get to 200 by what was it,
December 31st?
December 31st, we would give out a second prize.
I gotta say, I thought it was nuts.
I did too. I didn't think we were going to get.
I thought it was nuts. That's why I was like, I'll give a Grievous out. I don't care.
December 31st. Now here we are. It is Sunday,
January
29th, 2023. And just earlier, just before the live stream started, we just hit 301 subscribers.
Mental.
I am overwhelmed at the amount of support that the people who have found our YouTube channel have shown us, that they're willing to take a chance on a small channel like us who, and I've said before, long format is not for everybody. So for everybody that shows up on the live stream every week, God, we love you. Thank you so much. Please go and have a look at the channel. We are putting out more stuff weekly. I am endeavoring to post at least one short video a week, and there will be more coming. I know, Hank, you had been working on some stuff. I know, Andy, you've got some ideas for shorter things that can engage you for that 3 to 5 minute time slot that everybody seems to when you're on your lunch.
We hit 500 by say Valentine's Day. I'll go to somebody's house and do their dishes. You fly me to California, I'll do your dishes, man. If you want. I mean, this is unbelievable. And like I said, we've hit that sort of sweet spot, and there are many along the route to a lot of followers, or not that that's not our intent. If you guys like us and want to follow us, awesome. We're going to keep doing this. We did it for 8 people. We did it for 80 people. We're going to do it for 300 people. We'll do it for 1 million people if you want us. But we've hit that point where I think it's people are like, oh, these guys are starting to pick up steam and
maybe
are willing to sort of jump on board. And like when I look at other shows out there, and I'm not even trying to be arrogant or toot our own horn, but sometimes it helps to toot your own horn. But
I think you should toot it a bit.
I don't see the consistency that we have out there almost anywhere. Except for the guys that are being like paid to do podcasts.
Yeah.
And, right. Like I really don't see a weekly show like clockwork weekly, like with all the special, for 2 years, and I can go like we've put out 104 episodes of like weekly for 2 years, not to mention the other dozens and dozens of stuff that we've done.
I can tell you that
take a risk, guys. We love doing. I think, and it shows. Everybody I talk to is like, "Wow, you guys clearly love what you're doing."
We are in year 3, so we count October as our anniversary, and so we are presently at 182 videos. Now we had a few months where we were just an audio podcast, so. Mind you, those 182 do include all of our original audio podcasts when we had nothing to look at. So it's just this like crazy looking waveform on a screen. Don't necessarily go back and watch those. However, do go check out our back catalog because there is a ton of stuff there and a ton more to come. I would say for me, the next goal is 500. Because at 500, for those of you who don't do YouTube, at 500, we can get access to the community tab, which means that we can start posting photos and text in YouTube, or we can start engaging with you guys as a community, and we can talk to each other even more. we can run polls and things of that nature there, because not
Mhm.
everybody wants to come and follow us on Facebook, and not everybody wants to look at our Instagram. But if you're here on YouTube with us, then that's where we want to be with you. So 500 guys, if you can share with your like-minded friends, encourage one or two people to come and check us out, we would really appreciate that.
Yeah, as that number grows, and if it remains being exponential, that it's just, yeah, tell everybody you know, because we're entertaining as heck.
All right, enough about us. Is there anything that anybody else wants to talk about before we wrap it up for tonight?
I'm looking forward to the next episode.
I am looking forward
not disappointed me
to
yet.
the next episode as well. I too have.
I can't stop watching that Mando 3 trailer over and over.
Man, I am nervous as all get out when we hit those overlap weeks. But hey, it's going to be crazy, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So
yes,
yeah,
totally worth it.
Don't forget, we do have a Patreon. I've been very diligent at getting our videos out to Patreon, not the live streams, but our pre-produced stuff. I've been getting those out to Patreon ahead of time, so you can get them in advance. And we have a couple of tiers there for you guys to sort of take a look over. If you want to be part of the production team here, get your name in a production credit, there's a couple ways you can do that. So I encourage you to go check us out. Check out our Patreon. All the links are in the video description, so you can check those out at your leisure. But until the next time, everybody, which there will be a next time, because we've still got 14 more episodes. No, sorry, is it 16 episodes for the season?
Yeah,
we got 11 more episodes.
10 or 11 more to go.
11 more to go.
A lot.
And dovetailing right into and overlapping, in fact, with the Mandalorian, we're going to be chugging along for another 4 or 5 months without even a drop in the bucket.
With no break.
But we're not a Star Wars show.
No break. Listen, I've just been putting like, hey, subscribe for even more weekly Star Wars content. I think I've resolved that. Oh, we are a Star Wars show and more.
That's right.
And if we happen to do, absolutely.
We just happen to like other things.
Yeah. If you guys got an idea for one, let us know.
And to all the content creators out there, all the big guys and stuff, like if you are, if you're making Back to the Future 5, these are the guys that will love that stuff. I can't wait for Indy 5. That's so. The only reason we cover Star Wars so much is because there is so much content to cover.
God, and
that way.
God, I love it. I can't. It
it
is the I've said this before of the three.
Age.
When I think of the most important science fiction properties in my lifetime, it is top 3. It's number 1. It is number 1.
It is number 1 for
me. It is the number 1 most important pop culture science fiction phenomenon of my life.
And I've said it before too, and I feel this way about Marvel Comics, and I include DC Comics, although they're not necessarily my bag, but it's the modern mythology.
Yep. And
I always think to myself, did the Greeks read Ovid's Metamorphosis in real time and realize that's what future generations are going to go? This is what the gods were to them. You know what I mean? Like, you see in 1,000 years, they're going to be studying Star Wars like it was ancient human culture.
Yep. You're absolutely right. Well, just a few days before the next episode is up, just here, 3 days from now?
Yep.
Which means we'll be back just a few days after that. Like I said, we're never first, but we're always thorough.
Absolutely.
And until the next one, guys, for Fandom Power, my name is Wes.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Hank.
And we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now, guys.
Woohoo.